Happy Tuesday. I'm Inga. This is the Inga Barks Show from the wonderful Bakersfield Music Hall of Fame with Blue Sky Media and Kerncast. And instead of looking at me with horror today, the first thing Goose said when he saw me was...
You're looking better.
I feel good. So it's a very nice feeling. I even went for a walk this morning.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I went for a walk yesterday, too. I left the house. It's nice in the mornings. It's really nice. In fact, so open your windows and safety door, or not safety doors, and doors if you have a safety door, at like 2, 3 in the morning. Boom, you're going to be just cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, my wife walked outside to put the dogs out, and she goes, it's actually cool outside.
Yeah. Yeah, or cooler, I guess one could say. But yeah, in the mornings, it's very nice. Very nice. So welcome to the show. Glad that you are here, whether you are in Bakersfield or you are abroad or a dude. We welcome you to the program. Look forward to talking to you. We have Pastor Angelo Frazier coming on the program today. I think we said today. It's so funny. My memory is this long, but I'm pretty sure we said today, to talk about his new campaign, which is Make America Pray Again. And my first question to him was, wait, hold on, buddy, hold on. You want to make people pray? He said he'd explain that. So I said, good, because I don't want to force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. So especially, yeah, so we'll have him on today. But we got other things to involve ourselves with. Did you hear about, I'm sure you might have, the ginormous traffic
jam?
Yeah, that was caused on Friday?
I did hear about that.
Because of the man with the knife?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Okay, dude goes off the freeway onto like Golden State, the kind of the side road there, the frontage road. He runs into something, gets out of his truck. He's from Fresno, by the way. Fresno, keep your own. And love you. And he goes onto the southbound. I think it's the southbound where he was confronted by a police officer, but it might have been the northbound. And he has a knife. He approaches the officer with the knife. The officer shoots him. Traffic is way, way, way backed up. Now, I had a radio show on radio where we could take calls. Or if I had this show and we could take calls, we would definitely be talking about this, especially on a Monday. But today's Tuesday, my Monday. Because apparently, now this is what I've been told, Caltrans didn't notify people in like Delano, Tulare. I mean, I had a friend who came in from Porterville, and and just dead in traffic. Why didn't you take the 65 all the way, by the way, Greg? Just wondering. Anyway, the traffic was backed up really far in both directions. And I'm guessing the reason is because when you have a officer-involved shooting, it's not like a car accident where you can just shove all the, you do measurements, take your pictures, and you shove all the stuff to the side of the road, the ambulance takes off, and you can start directing traffic. When there's an officer involved, and people are going to start saying, did he shoot the person on purpose? Did he, out of malice? Was this legitimate? You've got cars, people in automobiles who probably witnessed it. You got to shut things down. And you got from the frontage road all the way to the northbound, and by Merle Haggard Drive, and you've got people stopped for hours and hours and hours. And I understand people's frustrations, but there was this one woman who responded on the Bakersfield Californian's website with this long diatribe. I tried to find it, I can't find it. This long diatribe about how awful this is, how the police absolutely failed. The CHP failed because she was stuck there for so long. She had places to go, and they couldn't even reroute traffic. She said that people were getting cited for flipping U's and going on the shoulders. I highly doubt that. I really do. Do you think a bunch of police officers who are dealing with an officer-involved shooting really care if you find an alternate route? No. But what if we had to use the bathroom? Well, there's the oleanders in between. Some of my Facebook friends said they got a kick out of the people that would just boldly walk out of their cars and walk into the orchards, just disappear into the orchards.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Hey, keep a cup in your car. Oh, one guy on my Facebook said that's why I always keep a bottle around, Gatorade or whatever. And then the women start saying, but we can't do that. That's why you take a large cup. That's why you always have the 44 ounce in the car, just in case. Have you some snacks? Have some water? Right?
Yeah.
Because you just never know. It could be a fire that stops you. It could be an officer-involved shooting. But this woman seemed to feel that because we pay tax dollars for police services, they should have had the amenities that people would need. And I'm thinking, okay, so every squad car, every CHP officer, every sheriff's deputy must have food, water, and what else? Food and water in the back, at least in their trunk, and then they must all tow a porta potty on all calls, just in case. And so, yeah, I don't know what's happened to people. In moments like that, the way I see it is, we're all in this together. I remember Paul Pavlitich from Pavlitich Lighting, who used to be the spokesperson for DeWars, and he was stuck on the ridge during a snowstorm with a whole bunch of other people, which always happens around late January, early February, in on the Grapevine. And you know what he did? He went up and down the road, handing out DeWars shoes to people, which was not only great advertising, but I'm sure people actually appreciated somebody giving them something like that. So anyway, I guess I just want to say that we'll see what happened. If Caltrans blew it, Caltrans blew it. If the CHP blew it, or the police, whoever was involved, if they blew it in rerouting traffic and all that, okay, we'll find that out. But in that moment, when you've got an officer-involved shooting, you've got it. I mean, I don't even know. I have no idea what the protocol is, but I imagine it takes a lot more than hauling the body or hauling the person off to the hospital. He later died, and then just pushing all of the whatever happened aside. I bet they're looking for casings. I bet they're looking for, you know what I mean? I bet they have to mark everything because somebody's going to say, "You killed my family member." So, sorry, it's a litigious world. Bring a cup. I think I'm going to have that as a bumper sticker. It's a litigious world. Bring a cup. I like it. I kind of proud of myself for that.
I had heard something about it while I was in here, and I can't even remember whose show it was I was doing, but my phone lit up, and I was like, and they're just saying officer involved.
Yeah.
And it blocks the 99. And then my wife starts texting me, "Did you hear about the thing on the 99? Oh, no, I haven't heard anything yet." And then Denise texts me, and she was like, "Do I have to take a different route? Because how bad is it?" And I have no idea. I don't have any information.
I always take surface streets, and that's why.
But
uses up more gas, but I hate life a lot less.
But I wonder if my phone lights up with something like that, why didn't people check their phones?
Solomon and I were having a lovely lunch when his phone lit up. So, and he reported it. It wasn't noon. It was later in the afternoon. We had a late lunch, late breakfast, really. But that it showed up on his phone. And one person on my Facebook page said, "What about people who listen to satellite radio?" I'm not responsible for them. The police aren't responsible for them. And I said, but the thing is, here's what I found out from, at least according to one of my Facebook peoples, that Friday, one of the radio show, we have only 2 local radio stations, but we have KUZZ, which probably told you everything all the time. But one show, from what I've been told, was a pre-record from another date. It was a best of, which is just a horrible thing to do in drive time. It really is. It's a horrible thing to do in drive time. And I don't know if the other said anything or not. I don't listen to either of them, or. And so I don't know. But anyway, that to me was the sad thing, is that when you're in your car, you've got a few choices. You can go online on your phone. You can also listen to radio and find out what's going on. And one of my bosses when I was in Fresno, John Broski, such a great guy. He gave me the best advice ever about radio, and that was, we are a public service. Our role is to tell people traffic and news and weather, and then fill in the blanks. Now, I'm not in radio anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'm sorry that I just, if anything ever happens while we're on the air and I don't catch wind of it, or Goose doesn't catch wind of it, tell us. Tell us. We'll take a break. We'll look it up real quick. We'll bring it to you, and you can hear it on your phone or you can hear it on your computer. So I just thought it was a shame that live local radio wasn't there for people.
Well, here's the interesting thing: is I remember all these years ago when I was allowed to run a board at one of our local radio stations, and I was working late, and I got an emergency call saying that one of the streets in Lake Isabella was closed, and there was a main thoroughfare, and they were closing it off, and here's the alternate route. And so I think every half hour I would come on live and say, if you're going to Lake Isabella, this road's closed, the alternate route is in blah, blah, blah. And
sorry, my baby just walked in the door.
And the interesting part is my sister-in-law lives in Bodfish, right near there.
Yeah.
And she was like, when the traffic started backing up, the first thing we did was we went to that radio station, heard you say, that closed, use this, and then all the people started taking this alternate route.
I mean, all we need to do is confirm it. Find any confirmation from the roads, from CHP, from Caltrans, and we'll inform. I
mean, is it me, or does it just seem like we don't have a solid news radio station that will report on stuff like this?
We do not. Some of the in some of the stations, it's pre-recorded, and the news person's been gone for hours. So news can break. The president, something's happened to the president, and you're still hearing about the Shirley Temple Festival happening this weekend at Beale Park.
Yeah.
And that's too bad. It's too bad. But I'll tell you what, in defense of those people, because I've worked with them and I've lived with them and I've put up with them and they've put up with me. Bakersfield is like this market. If you're a radio geek, Bakersfield is a market where we're kind of more of a cash cow than we are an investment. Well, how do I say this? Corporate entities. Now, in Bakersfield, one of the places is the owner's actually there on the site, but the other place I worked at, the corporation was in Oregon. Corporate entities, as long as you're bringing in money, you can tell them every microphone you have is broken, and they'll say, "Well, do it with smoke signals." They just keep bringing in the money, and so it gets a little depressing after a while. But I tell you what, Vincent Brothers, wall to wall, when his wife, mother-in-law, and 3 children were executed. Ultimately, we found out by him. Wall to wall, the world stopped. 9/11, the world stopped. Mm-hmm. In fact, we did go to live coverage on ABC, and we all went to the blood bank. Because ABC could do it better than we could. We weren't in New York. Remember
and I was going to say, I have an interesting story about 9/11.
Okay. Remember the guy who shot the dentist from Tehachapi? Yep. And wall to wall. You're potting up the television interviews. You're with the sheriff. You're doing everything. And so I think it's sad, because I think radio, from when I started, has gotten incredibly, incredibly lazy. And one of the most tragic examples of that was on KNZR before I was there. The host who I replaced did a show about a little boy who had disappeared. And the story from his friend was that they were playing in the front yard, a man in a truck pulled up, he got out, he shot his friend, or shot at them, and then he grabbed his friend and put him in the truck and drove away. And so for hours we were on radio. I was even in Fresno that night doing hours. You truck drivers, here's the license plate, or here's the description of the car, here's the description of the child, And long about 7 o'clock that night, we found out that the 2 friends were actually in a sump, one of those, like, what do you call those in the neighborhoods they're fenced off? They're like water.
Oh, okay.
Drainage, whatever. And they were digging a hole, and the little boy fell into one of the holes, and all the sand just collapsed on him. and he died. And twice after that, 2 times after that, I heard KNZR replay that show from that host saying, "We got to find this kid." I was like, "What is wrong with you? How lazy can you be?" So anyway, that's my blah 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 on radio today, and sorry about all that going on. I just wish that that accident was so close to my old station. When I was growing up in radio, there would have been somebody with a microphone or a cell phone running and saying what they're seeing on the freeway. So, but what do I know? All right, your 9/11 story?
Oh, my 9/11 story. This was, I happened to be working for Federal Express, for FedEx at the time.
I want to work for them.
They're a good company to work for.
I always just wanted to drive around and listen to radio.
And which is pretty much what I was doing. And Tuesday happened to be my day off.
Okay.
So I'm in bed and I'm asleep. Obviously, I'm in bed, I'm asleep. And all of a sudden, so like right after 9 o'clock, my wife comes in and she hits me and she goes, "You come out here. A plane just hit the World Trade Center." And so I'm like, "What?" And I get up and I go out to the living room. And of course, we were watching the Today Show when Matt Lauer was
that was terrific coverage that they did.
Matt Lauer was still on.
Yeah, pre-pervert.
And
we know he's a pervert.
And as I'm looking at it, all of a sudden this plane hits the tower, and I'm thinking I'm watching a replay.
Right, because it's a second plane.
And my wife goes, "Oh my God, a second plane!" And it was the weirdest feeling.
But it was confirmation of what you might have been thinking.
Yes. But I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm thinking I'm watching a replay of the plane hit the tower, and what I'm actually watching is a live feed of the second plane hit the tower. And again, it was my day off, so it was kind of weird to be sitting at home wondering how this is going to affect. And I went in the next day, and they said that all planes were still grounded, and everything is coming in by truck, and you just have to be patient because...
Oh, because you were with FedEx at the time.
Yeah, I was FedEx at the time,
Wow.
and it was like,
I bet they x-rayed every box. It
was weird. It was like...
That's weird.
For I would say for at least a full week, we had the lightest schedules we'd ever had because the packages were just trickling in rather than coming in like they were.
Wow.
And we were at this point we were getting ready for a holiday season.
Oh gosh, yeah, well, yeah.
Because it was in September, and everybody's so.
Wow.
It was a weird feeling for that to happen.
It's all weird. I remember listening to the station where I was working at the time, and I'm driving down Truxton Extension. There's a woman next to me. We could talk about this on 9/11. There was a woman next to me in the other car, and she must have been listening to music because she was just tapping her fingers on the steering wheel, and she was singing along, and I was like, "Do you not know?" And I bet she didn't. I bet she had absolutely no idea. We have so many forums now that we can go to for information or for entertainment that we miss out on things. I miss out on things. So anyway, that's some story, I think. The flag at half-mast. Let me just address this. This president with John McCain can neither win nor lose. He made, let's face it, when John McCain's very good friend Lindsey Graham was running against Donald Trump in the primaries for the 2016 election, he was asked a question about John McCain, and what did he say? He basically said, he's not a war hero. I consider heroes the people who got away, not the people who were caught. I firmly believe that John McCain had every reason to hate Donald Trump for saying that. I mean, he spent, what, 5 years as a prisoner of war? His arms were broken so badly he couldn't, move them properly. I was seeing yesterday, he couldn't comb his hair. All of that stuff. So I totally see his problem with Trump. What surprises me is I also watched the meeting in the White House over health care, in which John McCain spoke up and President Obama said, hey, we had an election, I won. That didn't bother him. But the POW thing, that would bother me. Now, there are a lot of things that have been floating around on the internet, stories about John McCain. I know a couple of stories from people I know who've worked with him or who were in Congress. And one story in particular I love, that one of my friends who's a former congressman who also ran for president that same year, no, not that year, 2008 he ran. But he tells a story about John McCain cornering him and getting in his face and saying, you will vote this way. He was a bully. He was a bully. He was surly. Some loved him, some didn't. It is absolutely unfair, however, when he said he didn't want President Trump at his funeral. It is unfair to expect statements from the president beyond, we're really sorry and we wish the family well. Mm-hmm. And what does the media do? Boom! They were saying all kinds of things about him yesterday. How heartless he was, how thoughtless he was. This was a lion in the Senate, and the president treated him this way. No, this is what John McCain would have wanted. If Donald Trump would have made himself the center of attention, John McCain would not have liked that at all. Mm-hmm. And that's my opinion. As for the flag at half-mast, and then it was down, and then it was up again because there was furor, I understand. But according to the rules, the national blah, blah, blah rules about flags and half-mast, 1 day for a member of Congress. 1 day, House or Senate. And that's what they did. So I think it's good that he raised the flag again. I think that's fine that they did that. They did it out of respect. And what does the media say? Oh, sure, now he's just trying to, make good. Now he's just trying to... Flippity gibbets. He can't win for losing on this one. So yes, I believe John McCain. And by the way, when John McCain voted on health care, when he voted against eliminating Obamacare, he was the vote we needed. And he voted against it. He knew what he was doing. He knew who he was screwing. And he did it on purpose. And it was solely personal. It wasn't even political. He certainly didn't do it in the best interests of his constituents. He certainly didn't do it in the best interests of Americans. He didn't do it for the Republican cause. He did it because he hated Donald Trump and he wanted Donald Trump to fail. So both of these men, big egos, maybe even overwhelming personalities. I think that John McCain should have been offended by what Donald Trump said about him as a POW. And I think Donald Trump did the right thing in laying up. And it is funny, though, because Bush and Obama are going to be speaking at his, or did they already? Was it today? I probably won't be watching it. But Bush and Obama were asked to speak at his funeral, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, Obama was the one who said to him, hey, the election's over and I won. And that's outside of all the other things Obama said about him when they were running head-to-head in 2008 for president. He got over that. He worked with Obama. He smiled with Obama. He ate with Obama. George W. Bush in 2000, I'm not saying Bush's fingerprints are on this, but certainly his campaigns are. I don't know if you guys remember, but wasn't there some kind of a rumor floated in South Carolina or North Carolina that caused people to not want to vote for McCain? That was something about him having a biracial love child. Yeah, that was back when we cared about stuff like that. It wasn't true, but it was floated. And it did enough damage to him that I believe he and his fans forever blamed the Bush administration for stifling him, much like Hillary did to Bernie in the 2000 presidential election. So, but those two will be speaking, or have spoken, were invited to speak, and Donald Trump wasn't. I'm glad Donald Trump wasn't. Donald Trump wouldn't have gone. He shouldn't have. I think everything worked out the way it should. So just so you know, 10 days for a president, or is it weeks? I don't remember. But it's 1 day for a congressman and or senator, for somebody in Congress.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know his body's lying in the State House. That's about it. That's all I know.
Yeah, which is awesome. I'd watch. I'd take a look at, because it always gets me tearied. Alrighty, we will take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about some other fantastic, wonderful, fabulous, fantabulous, wonderful things happening, including Amazon bringing 1,000 jobs to Baco.
Yay!
Yay! Jazz hands. And and Neil Simon died.
Okay, I had to think about this for a minute. You said Neil Simon, for some reason Paul Simon came to my head.
That's what happened on my Facebook page.
But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was a genius. But we got some other things to talk about, including Molly Tibbetts' murderer's lawyer in an amazing interview last week with Martha McCallum on Fox News, where this guy is cray-cray. All right, we'll be right back with Angelo Frazier. I'm Inga. This is the Inga Barks Show. Oh, I'm looking at I gotta go hug my kid. We'll be right back. We are at Blue Sky Media with Kerncast. Please like and share the shows. We'll be right back.
At the time you were arrested, you were served with a DS-367 temporary driver's license. It's good for 30 days, but if you don't act within 10 days, at the end of those 30 days, your license will be suspended. It's important for your lawyer to contact the DMV for you. Set up a driver's license administrative hearing so that your license is not going to suspension. That's something here at Braemar Law we do for you.
Introducing the new California State Penitentiary Bologna Sandwich. Jail food sucks. Don't let your family eat jail food.
I choose Patriot Bail Bonds.
We choose Patriot Bail Bonds.
We choose Patriot Bail Bonds.
If the best criminal attorneys choose Patriot Bail Bonds, who would you choose?
Patriot Bail Bonds. We fight for your freedom.
Oh, gosh. She starts feeling healthy. She doesn't touch a drop of anything she shouldn't drink. She's not eating anything. Well, it's not true. I ate something I shouldn't eat today, but in very small nibbles, and I'm already hurting. She's exercising. She's feeling good, and she can't remember the conversation she had with Angelo Frazier yesterday afternoon. He's coming in tomorrow, not today. Why did you say he was coming in today? Why did you lie to our friends?
Because
our dear, precious friends.
Because you said he was coming in today.
I don't remember saying that.
It's okay. You blame the producer anyway.
Always. You're the fallback. You're the always.
I tell people all the time. If anything happens, blame the producer.
Absolutely. Hey, something kind of funny I saw on Facebook. I love Facebook. I do. I admit it freely. And I don't know anything about blocking people. You know, sometimes I have a lot of response to my posts. Sometimes I have no response to I never have no response, but you know, little response. And I never say to myself, Facebook must be blocking me. I just don't think in those terms. I think, well, people weren't impressed with the post. That's the way I look at it. But it doesn't matter to me. I just like talking to you guys. And my friend Jim Sproul, who is a fantastic guy. Actually, his wife is my friend. He is he's the husband of my friend, but he's also a friend. And he's a great guy. He's a doctor here in town, pro-life doctor here in town. He's just a wonderful guy. In fact, when Michael Barks found out that he needed a kidney pancreas transplant, they immediately scheduled surgery for him to put it was Labor Day weekend, in fact, to put a sac in his peritoneal sac, they call it, in his belly to start the dialysis process so he could do it at home. It's a long thing. Now, I've had surgeries since I was 4. Okay. And sometimes I've even chosen, yeah, sure, do it. What the heck? What's the worst that can happen? Or does it come with meds? Or ice cream? But Michael Barks, had never had a surgery in his entire life. So he has this major thing done, this thing put into his belly. And we were at a mutual friend's birthday party, I believe it was. And Jim was there and his wife, Heather. And Jim said to me, he pulled me aside and he said, I think there's something really seriously wrong with Michael. Now, he's a doctor. Mm-hmm. I said, what do you think? He said, I think he's had a heart attack. And I look at Michael, he's just pale, almost green. Took him to Mercy Hospital. Yep, the first heart attack he ever had. And so anyway, I love Jim forever because he probably saved Michael's life, that time. But anyway, he's also been a missionary, and he injured himself years ago on a mission trip, ended up getting a terrible infection, lost his leg. Yeah, lost his leg. So he and his wife I know, I'm laughing. You're saying, why are you laughing? He lost his leg. He and his wife go to see their son graduate from, I believe it was Air Force this piloting school. Their son is now a pilot in the military. I mean, that's just awesome. And the pictures, and I'm saying, oh, I'm so proud. That's so great. Good for you guys. And then Jim posts this picture of himself standing in the TSA line. And he said he's dealt with this before with the prosthetic leg, the fake leg, right? You got to take it off, I guess, put it on the belt. I don't know what. But the person at the TSA counter said, I'm going to have to check your prostate.
Excuse me?
Or squeeze. Turn and cough me? I just had to share that with you. I went too long in telling the story.
Did he get his number?
Yeah, I know. He didn't even get dinner out of the deal. Yeah, I know. And he had such great humor about it. He thought it was hilarious, and so did I. I just had to share that with you guys because that just absolutely made my day that day. Sir, very serious national security issue. I need to check your prostate. Well, okay. Glad you have gloves on. People were asking on Facebook, did you drop trow? No, he didn't. He didn't fall for it.
Paid no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that story made my day, the day that he posted it. Check your prostate. There is a particular state senator. His name is Ricardo Lara. He is from Bell, California? Bell Gardens. Bell Gardens. And he's also running for insurance commissioner. So he's the first to stand up and talk about bills that involve medical care, medical treatment, and et cetera, et cetera. And so anyway, he introduced a bill. This is SB 2943. And the bill basically will include the fact that we now have, it's against the law. Well, he'll explain it to you, but it's against the law. Something happened, didn't it?
No, I got it.
Okay.
It's just, it puts this big old explanation.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm trying to cut the explanation.
Get past that, yeah.
And it wants to kick me back. And I'm like, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I don't want the explanation. But anyway, we'll just let you hear in his own words about SB 2943 on behalf of the LGBT community.
Thank you, Madam President, members. I'm proud to be a co-author of this important bill with the other members of our LGBT caucus. And, proud to say on this floor, after years of struggling with my own spirituality, to say that God makes no mistakes and that I was absolutely born this way. And the issue with conversion, it already implies that there's something wrong with you, that you're somehow not normal. And it is those feelings that perpetuated the brutal murder of Gabriel Fernandez and Anthony Avalos by the hands of their own parents. Children that were tortured, children that were made to eat feces, that were burned with cigarettes because somehow they were not normal. Study after study shows that conversion therapy is ineffective, damaging, and truly counterproductive. We have in California, of course, as you all know, banned conversion therapy for minors. Under a bill I authored, we are now requiring the licensing of schools and outdoor programs that target vulnerable LGBT youth, including these so-called conversion camps. For the first time now, the Department of Social Services will have the opportunity to see what really is happening in these camps and to see if people are properly trained. So this bill is a perfect complement to that. That law will be fully implemented in the coming months. We know, members, trust me, we know, conversion therapy is a sham. There is not a practice out there that can change who I or my colleagues love. It is a matter of fact. And let me be clear, members. Let me be absolutely clear. We are gay by nature, but absolutely fabulous by choice. I ask that you support AB 2943.
Thank you, Senator.
Well, howdy doody. What'd you think of that, huh? What'd you think of that, Ricardo Lara?
And it passed 25 to 11. So,
That's just the introduction of the bill, though. So,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm wondering if, since pot passed in the state of California, if they're not testing it up there in Sacramento.
I think they have for a very long time. I just get. Let me say something based on stuff that he said. I am we'll probably talk to Angelo about this tomorrow, but I am a firm believer that God chooses us. Because, and don't, I'm not preaching to you. Please, just understand where the brain's coming from here. Because I believe God chose us. I believe that there's nothing we do that can save us. Not even saying, I believe. That's more an expression of what's already happened. So I believe that God chose us. Some people call that predestination. I don't know. You can call it whatever you want. He knows the future, and I believe that he chose his children. And as a result of that, I was born this way. Right? As a Christian, I was born this way. I can't fight it. God, the Bible says God drags us to him. There's nothing I can do. And yet my group is probably the most criticized, attacked, reviled in the country right now in terms of leftist activists. And Ricardo Lara is one of those. That implies that people who believe that through counseling you might work through homosexual tendencies, that's somehow abuse and ultimately leads to murder. Are you kidding me? Now, there have been stories all around the country of people who thought their children were demon-possessed and they beat them and cigarettes and all that kind of stuff, try to get the demon out of them. I'm not one of those people. I don't do that. Do you do that? Is that your thing?
No.
Be gone!
No.
Yeah, I don't. I watch the televangelists only because I enjoy seeing what they're giving away, like the holy water that they've blessed Just send him $50 and he'll give you the rag that he prayed upon. That's just silliness. So because this is what I believe, I was born this way. So can I say it's hate speech, what he just said about me, who has no choice in what I believe? I'm just asking. Because everything else is hate speech. We're born this way. You know, if you've ever known anybody who is a Christian who's struggled with homosexuality, I know people who have chosen to live that life, and I know people who have chosen to leave that life, and I know people who've just chosen to abstain for the rest of their lives. You know, that's not abuse. That's a choice. Sex is a behavior. Sex is an act. So I just have a real problem with people like this. Now that's the sincere part of me. The other part of me says, really? He said we're fabulous? Did you play that part?
We're fabulous.
He says we're fabulous. And people clapped. Oh, that's so great. What does that have to do with legislation? What on earth is he talking about? Yeah, I shared last week. I reminded you guys about the Vietnamese Republican Vietnamese senator who got on the floor to object to the honoring of a blah 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 blah.
Was it a former legislator?
It was a former legislator who. What did he do to the Vietnamese? I can't remember all of a sudden.
I think I want to say he was in Vietnam and he was a soldier. And
I don't think he was.
I don't think he was.
No, Stark. No.
Tony Stark.
Yes, that's who it was. It was Tony Stark. But anyway, she gets up to speak, and they escorted her off the floor for talking about her particular ethnic group, which she has no choice in how she was born, and how they felt about this. Now, I'm not into the ethnicity thing. I wish all of this stuff would go away. But I it's not funny. We're fabulous. No, a lot of you are tortured souls, and I know some of those tortured souls. And I know some of those tortured souls who've married someone of the opposite sex and had children and have had lives, and they didn't live in a closet. They just lived. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a gentleman who does a show next door, and he is a pastor who lived the homosexual lifestyle for a while. I don't know how long it was, but he said I remember when I had produced one of his shows when Greg was out of town, and he had said that he had a picture of him and all of his friends, I think back in the mid '80s, and he says that he is the only one that is alive.
Wow.
Because he is the only one that turned away from the homosexual lifestyle while all the rest continued to live and passed away from AIDS.
And sometimes that just means abstaining, right? I mean, it happens. Sex isn't the most important thing in life.
I think, for me though, it's a little different because I have many friends who are.
You're in theater,
and they are of the LGBT community, and I love them to death.
As do I. It has nothing to do with love.
No, it has nothing to do.
Or not loving them.
I think what offends me is about this is that he basically pinpointed, and I just went spit on them.
Nice.
But he pinpointed.
You want me to do it too so you feel better?
No, it's okay. Okay. Anyway, but he pinpointed Christians specifically for this, and that, like you said, can be considered hate speech because he insults.
He's saying that we're murderers, that we'll beat and abuse, that it's abuse. How is it abuse if somebody wants counseling? How is it abuse to give them counseling? So anyway, that just is just a thorn in my side. It was introduced today. Also today, the governor signed the bail bill, and it doesn't kick in until October of 2019. But I was just talking to TJ, and he was saying that he's hearing that they're going to start phasing out bail bonds. So this means, along with the bill, which is, what is that bill? It's, I wrote it down
SB 10?
somewhere. Well, there's SB 10. Yeah, that's SB 10. But there's also, I thought I wrote it down, but I guess I didn't. There's also a bill that will allow people who commit violent acts, sex acts and murder that are well, murder's illegal, but sex acts that are illegal, to claim that they have mental illness and be sent to therapy instead of prison.
Oh my God.
Everybody has mental illness.
I know.
Name a person who doesn't have. If you don't fit the description of one of those TV commercials, are you tired a lot? Do you spend time alone?
I work 50, 60 hours a week. Yes, I'm tired all the time.
Do you sometimes not want to eat? I mean, come on, we all fit it. Do you have anxiety? Who doesn't? I'm sure that even the kamikaze pilots, right before they hit their targets, said maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Everybody's got something, and now we call it all mental illness.
I think what scares me, and I know we're going to be going to a break, and I know this is open a whole new can of worms, but I just found out recently, thanks to a couple of guys from another show, that they're trying to make pedophilia.
Oh yeah,
That's
been going on for a long time. The DSM, I believe is what it's called from my psychology studies. She has just because I have a degree doesn't mean I know anything.
Right.
But the diagnostic manual for psychology, I believe, might have already decided that pedophilia is a. It's not that it's not criminal. It's that it's predisposed. You're born with it.
Well,
There's nothing you can do.
They're trying to say that it's a new sexual orientation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pedophilia. So we can have LGBTQP. Will they embrace the P? Let me rephrase that.
Because I usually just flush my pee.
Yeah. Well, it'd kind of be hard to embrace it. But anyway, we'll see what happens when that becomes a sexual orientation. What the LGBTQ community does with that. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? All right. Anyway, so we got to go to break.
Yeah, let's go to break.
All right, let's go to break. This bill is horrible because once again the argument. You know what? I'll talk about it on the other side about the argument. Okay. All right, we'll be right back. I'm Inga. This is the Inga Barks Show, broadcasting from Kerncast. Please like and share if you like and share. If you like, share. And please, by all means, ignore all of my nervous tics. I noticed I'd mess with my hair. These are all things I could do in radio. Nobody knew. Adjusting my stuff. All right, we'll be right back.
Patriot Bail Bonds has the best customer service in Bakersfield. Patriot has more 5-star ratings than any bail company in Kern County. Plus, we're fast and affordable. If you run into the law, make Patriot Bail Bonds your first call. That's right, one call, that's all.
If you're in jail, call Patriot Bail.
Introducing the new California State Penitentiary Bologna Sandwich. Jail food sucks. Don't let your family eat jail food.
At the time you were arrested, you were served with a DS-367 temporary driver's license. It's good for 30 days, but if you don't act within 10 days, at the end of those 30 days, your license will be suspended. It's important for your lawyer to contact the DMV for you. Set up a driver's license administrative hearing so that your license does not go into suspension. That's something here at Bramer Law we do for you.
All right, we is back, and I welcome you back to the show. Here's the thing. The bail bonds bill that was signed by the governor today is pretty far-reaching. It's not only going to kill jobs, but think about this. If there's no bail for the rich or the poor or the middle class, and I've known people who've had to make bail, and it's been a hardship for them, but if there's no bail, then you're released on your own recognizance. I said it. You're released on your own recognizance, which means you can cause mayhem. It also means that our probation department in Kern County is going to have to take over the job of the bail bondsman and watch you and make sure you get to court. How many probation officers do you know? How big is their list of things to do? How many people are they chasing after? You know, and I can see problems on a number of levels. For one, I see criminals who violate their probation not getting taken in because there's just no time. We don't have time. Can't do it. Pretend I didn't see you do that. I see, I do see, though, that if bail is so enormous that it's a burden to a person, if we're talking murder, I'm okay with that. If we're talking pedophilia, I'm okay with that. If we're talking about a theft crime or something, and we're talking about somebody who just doesn't have the means and they can show that. I understand maybe some modifications. But if you don't have skin in the game, you're not going to show up to court. Why would you?
Yeah.
So there's going to have to be some kind of collateral. What are we going to keep their car until they show up for court? I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to trust that the probation has enough time to deal with this. This is so sad for us as citizens, because this means that people are going to be out on the streets, and then Prop 47, which turns serious crimes into misdemeanors, is continuing to send people out into the streets. And then this other bill, which will allow people to claim mental illness, will send them out into the streets as long as they go to therapy. And then AB 109 lets them go before they even see a judge. I mean, this state, our legislature is purposefully filling the streets with the criminal element, and not that everybody's guilty, because I know innocent people who've been charged with crimes, but they're sending out the criminal element for us to deal with at the same time as they don't want us to have guns. And there are people who think this is an attempt to get voters for them. That is so gross. Isn't that gross?
Yeah.
At the people's expense to get voters. Do you really want them voting?
See, let me ask you this. Okay. By some miracle, please, dear God, let's hear my prayer. If perchance we get a Republican governor.
Mm-hmm. That could happen.
And a Republican Attorney General. Mm-hmm. And a Republican Secretary of State.
Oh, well, none of that is going to happen.
I mean, suppose we get
maybe Secretary of Education.
So,
or instruction.
Let's say there's a Republican shift, because I've seen this. I've seen it where when things move so far left, all of a sudden people say, "I want stop, time out," and they start moving things closer to the right to try to even stuff out. I mean, that's kind of how we got Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Who did promise to veto SB 60, and he did, and that was the driver's licenses for illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
So he did keep his promise on workers' comp reform. He did keep some of his promises before he destroyed us with his environmental policies.
Because because one of the reasons, the key for Gray Davis being recalled was the fact that our registrations went tripled. And
our PG&E bills or Edison bills quadrupled, if that's a word.
Yes.
So suddenly the roads were going to be filled with people who weren't American citizens driving cars who came from countries where, I don't know if you've ever driven in some of these countries before, but I don't know if there are any actual laws other than don't hit a chicken.
Driving in the state of California is dangerous enough.
It is now.
It is now.
It's worse than it's.
So, what I'm wondering is, and again, I can see a shift coming. A shift's going to. Do you think that bills like this are going to get pulled and recalled?
If John Cox is governor, well, I believe the gas tax is going to be overturned at the polls.
Mm-hmm.
If John Cox is governor, I absolutely believe that this bill, and many others, will probably be overturned just by executive order. Just vjeep, vjeep, vjeep. I don't know if he can do that, but he should be able to. And so yeah. But the sad thing is, do you know how much Maxine Waters' house it cost? $4 million.
$4 million?
She doesn't live in the district she represents. You know, the poor minorities who she goes and talks to, and they all love her so much.
Straight out of Compton?
Yeah, no, she doesn't live in that district. You don't have to for Congress. You don't have to live in the district in which you run. And she not only doesn't live in the district, but she has a $4 million house. And people continue to vote for her and think she's a champion of the poor. Now, I don't begrudge her making money, but I just think that people are always... that a lot of times, whether it's the media or it's our parents or it's, I don't know, our own inability to critically think, people still vote for folks like that. People think that the problems in their life are Trump's fault, right? You know what I mean? They don't. I don't know that people look to Sacramento very often, and they look to Trump if they're looking at Washington D.C. Now, when Obama was president, they looked to Congress because the majority was Republican. Now, and the whole time Maxine Waters was living in this house. So I guess I forget what your question was. What your comment was. I honestly believe if you went door to door and without party affiliation, listed the things that conservatives favor, the majority of people in this that you talk to would say, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Hope for everybody, a chance for everybody with the opportunity to do better in life, freedom of speech, freedom to protect yourself, freedom from police invasion. I mean, there's so many things that I think people would say, I'm for that. I favor that. So I don't believe the legislature represents the people. I think they represent themselves. I mean, Ricardo Lara admits it himself. As a gay man, he's passing bills that are about gay people. He's serving himself. I mean, are all the people in Bell Gardens gay? I'd have to look up the number of LGBT people in Bell Gardens, which is the district he represents. So any old who, let's see, 412. Okay, let's lighten it up for just a second, then we'll get back to ugliness. Oh, again, congratulations to your supervisor, Mike Maggard. I think he's the chair this year.
And what did he do this time?
He got the supervisors got the Amazon place, but it's going to be in his district, in your district in which you live.
It's actually interesting because we were actually just kind of like driving by there one time, and my wife had to make it a comment, just like, what are they going to do with all this land out here? And I said they'll probably put like commercial buildings or something on here because you can't put houses near the airport. And lo and behold,
I've got an awful lot of land for distribution purposes. I was going to say Starbucks. Ugh. So Amazon's coming to town, 1,000 jobs. And no, I don't give all the credit to Mike Maggard. I give credit to the supervisors. But I was reading today, they kept it a secret because Amazon, that's the way they operate. They like to keep it on the down low.
And it's a perfect location because
it is.
I mean, think about it. That they just got to pack it in their trucks, drive across the street, put it on a plane, and there it goes.
It also makes it, so true. It also makes sense for the hotels that have been built around there. Mm-hmm. I haven't been on on that road since January. But, there were all kinds of fast food going up and restaurant stuff. So
plus it's going to raise the value of my house. So I'm really happy about that.
That is a good thing, my friend. That is a very good thing.
It is a very good thing. Yeah.
Yes. Meanwhile, well, never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. So that's great. Good for them. Apply for a job now. I ran into the assistant city manager from Tehachapi the other day, who used to be my producer.
And how is he doing?
He's doing great. He's so thin. He looks terrific. And anyway, he was saying that Walmart up there, they're trying to hire people at the Super Walmart. He said and I ran into him at Walmart, and he said their Walmart is going to be better than our Walmarts. So if you're looking for a gig, Tehachapi calls, Amazon calls, what the heck. All right, on a lighter note, I have to share this story with you. It's out of South Carolina, but it doesn't matter because it's the image of this man that is actually funny. The story itself is not. A man dressed in women's clothing and a wig was arrested after South Carolina police say he recorded a woman in the bathroom in an adjacent stall. I know it's a fetish. I totally know that it's a fetish. I just don't get the fetish.
I don't either.
Bathrooms aren't the cleanest place. And people do dirty things in bathrooms. You know what I mean. Mm-hmm. The victim told officers that she entered the store's bathroom. It was a store's bathroom. Knocked on a stall door and heard a male voice respond, but looked down to see female shoes. Why did she look? Oh, because the male responded. Okay, mm-hmm. All right, fair enough. I usually look in the cracks in between. I see clothes. The victim, investigators say they found the video of the victim on his phone. He was arrested. His phone was seized. Oh, he's being held on $5,000 bond. Because that's the way South Carolina plays. But this is what I dig about it is, why don't our computers work with us as much as we want them to?
Because they're computers.
Oh, all right. That's fair enough. Here we go. I want to get rid of that. I don't like ads, the pop-up ads. Okay, I want to show you this guy's mugshot. And you might go, I can see it. Gosh, she used lip liner even. This is good stuff. Here he is. Can you see it?
Oh my God, up a little higher.
Up a little higher?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah. He's a winner. He's a winner.
I mean, that is probably one of the worst comb overs I've ever seen in my life because he misses the bald spot.
Yeah. It's getting kind of scary.
Yeah.
My son Tyler, who's
wearing lipstick,
who does a very short, quick show
mm-hmm.
on Fridays now, mm-hmm. and this last week he reported about a T-Mobile salesman who got popped when a customer came in for a phone repair. And he took all of her photos off her phone and then emailed and then text messaged them to her or to himself. So he got busted with that. And then a week earlier, he reported about a Lyft driver who got busted videotaping people in the back of his car and got
from the back of his car.
No, he's driving. He's got a camera and he's videotaping the people in the back of the car.
Like his Uber or
yeah.
his And what are they necking or?
No, he caught some skirt action.
Well, they weren't doing anything wrong. He just they might have accidentally been doing the what's that movie where the legs are crossed?
Yeah, born as Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct. So he might have caught somebody on film doing accidentally.
And he was
doing
live streaming at the time. So that's why he got busted.
Yeah, that's not
so that doesn't surprise me anymore.
But you know what? It's just his preference. I mean, this guy expresses himself through watching women drop the kids off at the pool. And that's his thing. And he's been driven into darkness. He's been driven into cross-dressing. Look at all the ways that he's had, all the lengths he's had to go to just to live life as the real him. As the real he. He. That hair, though, was fantastic, wasn't
A
it?
he, she, or she?
I don't know. I can't figure out. In fact, I've been confused because what is it in Connecticut or New Hampshire? The governor's primary was won by a transgender.
Mm-hmm.
But see, if you're transgender, okay. I can't do the math. If you want to be called a woman, wait. Let me do it this way. Let me just see. Okay, so you're a man who becomes a woman, and if you've become a woman, are you still a transgender?
I think that's the point. I think if you're a man that is a woman, then you're a woman.
Right. So why do they call themselves transgender? Because they want people to know they used to be a man, but they still want you to treat them like a woman?
Yeah. That's an interesting point.
Sorry, I was born this way. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry. Did you say break?
Yes, I did.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and maybe close up shop. We'll see.
Well, we still got to talk about Mr. Allan Richards.
Oh, the lawyer. I mean, this is tragic, infuriating, and also tells you that anybody could get a job as a lawyer. Anybody could get a law degree. The attorney for the murderer of beautiful Molly Tibbetts and his lawyer was on with Martha McCallum last week. And I know it was last week. You might have seen it, you might not have. But I haven't talked to you since last week, so we're going to give it a go and play it for you for your entertainment and disgust. All right, we'll be right back. I'm Inga Barks. This is the Inga Barks Show, broadcasting from the beautiful Bakersfield Music Hall of Fame with Kerncast and kerncast.com and like and share and like and share and like and share. We'll be right back.
Introducing the new California State Penitentiary Bologna Sandwich. Jail food sucks. Don't let your family eat jail food.
Patriot Bail Bonds has the best customer service in Bakersfield. Patriot has more 5-star ratings than any bail company in Kern County. Plus, we're fast and affordable. If you run into the law, make Patriot Bail Bonds your first call. That's right, one call, that's all.
If you're in jail, call Patriot Bail.
At the time you were arrested, you were served with a DS-367 temporary driver's license. It's good for 30 days, but if you don't act within 10 days, at the end of those 30 days, your license will be suspended. It's important for your lawyer to contact the DMV for you. Set up a driver's license administrative hearing so that your license does not go into suspension. That's something here at Braemar Law we do for you.
Hey, congratulations to Miss Kern County, Junior Miss Kern County, Jovi Mongold. There's her picture. Can you see it?
Yep.
And this was I guess some kind of a beauty contest, but it was put on by Kern Bridges Youth Homes, which is a terrific place where mostly boys get placed in group homes because it's tough to get adopted 9, 10, and 11-year-old boys, right? So they end up in group homes or in foster care. And anyway, I'm a big fan of Kern Bridges Youth Homes, and also at Alpha Omega Wellness Center. Mike is not only my chiropractor, we went to high school together and graduated together. Yeah, that's right, I graduated. And And he's a great guy. And here's a story. They had 5 kids, I think, between them from different marriages, maybe 4 from her marriage and his marriage, and they get married. So they've got these kids. And one day I'm walking into his store, and he's got this beautiful little redheaded boy. His name is Lucas, and he says, we're adopting him. He's a baby. We're adopting him. Oh, okay. That's awesome. So now they're at like 5, right? And then guess what happens? The mother of this little boy has 2 other children. So social services calls them up and says, hey, would you like some siblings? Oh, yeah. Oh, they did it. They did. They took the siblings. So now they're at like 7. And I don't remember if it was the same woman or if it was another woman who they got a phone call. Little boy, little baby, newborn boy, born with some problems. He needs a home. Will you take him? We'll not take him. We'll adopt him. I do believe they're at 8 or 9 kids. And those people like that are heroes to me. We'll get them on the show in a couple of weeks and talk to little Miss Junior Kern County, Jovi Mongold. I can't remember if she's one of the adopted children or one of the birth children, but does it matter? They're all their children. No, they're all their children. She's beautiful. Look at that hair. Look at that hair. Gosh. So anyway, congratulations.
What are you talking about? And this, for some reason, popped in my head. Did you know Alyssa Carlson was in Las Vegas as the
I saw
Mrs.
a picture. Yeah, Mrs. Kern County?
Mrs. California.
California?
That's what I heard.
Good for her.
Mrs. California.
That is awesome. I saw a picture of her, but I couldn't see what the sash said. So, well, that is congratulations to Alyssa Carlson. She's worked hard on that figure. So good for her. I mean, she was a little chubby. She lost it for a wedding, and then she gets pregnant. Mm-hmm. So she's worked hard to look as fantastic as she does, and I commend her completely. So congratulations to her as well. That's great. Thank you for reminding me of that. Let's see, Neil Simon died. I don't want to talk about the Catholic Church today. Molly Tibbetts, beautiful girl. She was murdered by somebody who shouldn't be in this country. And last week, Martha McCallum sat down with the murderer's lawyer. Now, they're calling him Christian, but the story keeps saying it's a TH, so it's Christian.
It's Christian. It's someone who has a list.
Fabulous. It's Christian. I don't know. CHRISTHIAN is the way that they're spelling it in the news story. So I'm a little confused. But we'll just call him Christian because that's a great name to give somebody who's a future murderer. And I just wanted you guys to hear just a bit. It's a 7-minute interview. We're not going to make you guys listen to the whole thing, mostly because I know you're dying to hear more of me or see more of me. But I just wanted you to get the feel of what happens when anybody can be a defense attorney.
Exclusively is Rivera's defense attorney, Allan Richards. Mr. Richards, welcome to the story. Thank you for being here tonight to answer some questions. He described what happened in pretty great detail in the police report. He talked about running behind her and then alongside of her. Then she said she was going to call the police. Then he panicked and got mad and says that he blacked out after that. Your response to the fact that it is now known that she died from sharp force injury?
I would have no comment on, those reports until I see the reports.
You haven't seen the medical examiner's report from your case?
As far as the death, I'm real sorry about the death. I'm not going to make any comment on a report until somebody testifies to in more detail concerning the matter.
So you haven't read the medical examiner's report with regard to your client that came out today. But anyway, so I just filled you in on the headline there, which is that she was killed with sharp force trauma, blunt force trauma, essentially, which indicates that she was hit hard with something, hard enough to kill her, according to these reports. We also have this picture today of the cornfield where her body was found, and he described to the police in detail that he brought her to a secluded location. He carried her over his shoulder, took her about 20 meters into the cornfield, and then left her covered in some corn leaves and left her there face up. That's the report according to your client. Do you want to comment on that at all?
I understand that. That is what the investigators are stating. You know, as far as you're asking me, I've been here. I'm in Tama County. I've been in court proceedings most of the afternoon or morning here in Tama County, and I will have the opportunity to review those matters.
Okay. This is a soundbite that you said. I want to play something that you said that's gotten a lot of attention yesterday about your case. Let's play that.
And the law includes presumption of innocence and due process before critical mistake of saying the outrageous thing that sad and sorry Trump has been saying. And he said it about this case, which there's no premise in the history of our country where a man in that position, a sad and sorry Trump, should even be commenting on him until we get past this presumption of innocence.
So why did you decide to bring the president into it?
Well, he's brought himself into it, and I think that people are buying into the concepts and notions that Mr. Trump is bringing forward. And at this stage in the process, it's not proper. I think there's a misconception of what the role of a defense attorney is. My role is to vigorously represent Christian, and my obligation is to the administration of justice in a manner that seeks out the truth, in a manner that helps people and societal problems in a rational, peaceful,
I understand what you're saying.
and efficient manner.
I just think you know.
Oh my God.
I mean, if this story was not about the murder of a beautiful young woman, that guy would be hilarious. I mean, it's really tragic that people like that can be a lawyer. My favorite part really is when she says, well, what did she say? I'm informing you now.
Yeah.
I haven't read the medical report. Why would I read my murderous client's
Why would I read the medical examiner's report?
released? You guys might have read it. I didn't read it. Why would I read it? You read it. You read it. Why would I read it? I'm just his lawyer. And then he goes on, he talks about things like, well, those are your facts. No. The fact is, he was in this country illegally. He admitted to murdering. No, those are your facts. Those are my facts. Those are your facts. I mean, if it weren't a murder, which is so, and I hope this guy suffers. I'd hate for him to be extradited. Well, he won't be. He'll serve.
I just kept looking at the lawyer going, and he just looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of one of my favorite Saturday Night Live lawyers that we've played before on the show. And again, this is about a murder, so it's not fun, but this is what he actually did remind me of.
From 100 nations around the world have now declared the international consensus that global warming exists, that we are causing it, and that the impacts are going to be catastrophic. So what are you saying? Did you know that since 1988, we've had the 9 hottest years on record?
I know that. You don't think I know that? I represent the oil companies. I would be very aware of that.
Did you know that your oil industry clients receive $65 billion a year in taxpayer-funded subsidies from our federal government?
Of course I know that. But we give a lot of that money back to congressmen and to the White House.
You know, scientists are predicting this year for the first time that the East Antarctic ice sheet and the Greenland ice sheet may break off. If that happens, Mr. Thurm, Manhattan Island will be under 12 feet of water.
I mean, listen, I like Manhattan, but it's filthy. It's a filthy city. I don't think we can deny that, with a severe rat problem. Also
I think Martha McCallum could have gotten further with Martin Short than she did with that guy. What a creep. What an absolute creep. So anyway, and, you know, I've spent time before in courthouses. Not because I was, not for my, it wasn't me. I've just been there. And you can tell the new lawyers from the experienced lawyers. Like you've got your David Torres or your Bremen, our guy here who advertises, who are, by the way, in the top 5 lawyers in Kern County, according to, I don't remember what poll. Bremer, I apologize. They're dressed in, you know, I mean, David Torres has got his purple shirt on and his tie that matches and the jacket and the gold gold wristwatch and all that good stuff. And then there's these guys who went to the rack sale at Men's Warehouse and said, I'm a 38, that's a 42, it'll work. Just cinch the belt. I've got that tie from 1974. Put me on Fox. So anyway, I'm sorry that it's about a murder, but I am not sorry to make fun of the lawyer who is totally incompetent. How can you not read your clients? Why did he agree to go on? He gave us nothing. He told us nothing. Right? He told us.
I think H.A. Sala told us more about the Leticia Perez. I don't want to say debacle, but than what this guy talked about in half an interview.
He lands number 1 on defense attorneys in Kern County. And that's probably for a reason. So, all right, I already talked about Neil Simon. I can't believe your lack of response. You're a theater guy. Biloxi Blues, Barefoot in the Park. Same time next year.
No, I had just heard about it this morning, and so I didn't have a chance to really. All
right, you're forgiven.
To really respond to it. But when you said Neil Simon, for some stupid reason,
everybody did.
Paul Simon's face came in my head.
I have people who went Carly Simon on me on Facebook. They went Paul Simon. But my friend Jeff and I know. He's an actor. He's a director. Yep. He's down in L.A. He and I actually multiple times performed scenes from Barefoot in the Park, where he was Paul and I was whoever Jane Fonda was. He was Robert Redford. And it's where I learned the term fish balls. One day does not a week make. But he was just witty. He was witty in his time, and absolutely brilliant. And so
and he was the type of playwright that wasn't defensive.
No.
In what he did, he basically spoke about true life.
Yeah.
And where he was, I believe, in Yonkers, New York, and some of the things that he talked about and experienced were
like Biloxi Blues, for instance, the first meeting with a prostitute. He made it. You didn't have to edit that for television. It was just funny. I know. That's probably wrong.
I think of one line that comes out of Biloxi Blues when he comes off the bus and he says, "It's hot. It's out like Africa hot." And I wonder if you could even say that today. But because it's Neil Simon, of course.
He had one of my favorites, which is based on a love affair, which is extramarital, which I frown upon. Same time next year, Alan Alda and I can't remember. It's not Marsha Mason. I can't remember who it is. But they meet once a year at the same cabin, and they spend a weekend together. And in one year, she shows up pregnant. But anyway, Neil Simon, good stuff. I want to acknowledge that Jack in the Box on California and Oak has been shut down for sewage issues. They're going to educate the employees. They're going to teach them how to handle food because of sewage issues. Now, I'm just going to say this in defense of the employees, and I don't know. I don't go to that Jack in the Box. I don't do fast food anymore. I tried something risky today, and it hurts already. So I'm not gonna go there. But in their defense, you know those times when you're like desperate to find a bathroom? You men probably don't go through that, do you? It's a moment of truth.
Yes, we do.
It is a moment. You have an appointment. And
I have a story off air.
Okay, and this happened to me once, and there was an AM/PM, which I didn't know if they let you on California. Didn't know if they had a public bathroom, which they do. There was a Chevron, which I didn't know if they had a public bathroom. There was a Taco Bell, but I'd have to go cross traffic and all that. And there was a Jack in the Box. So I go into the Jack in the Box. There's a homeless person on either side of the door when I go in, and I walk in and I just walk right to the bathroom, and it won't open. And I thought, oh, okay, somebody's in there. And one of the workers goes, I have to buzz you in. They had to buzz me in. You know why?
Because they want to keep the homeless out.
Because homeless people were going in there and pooping everywhere. So in defense of the employees, that's all I'm saying.
It's funny because I think Sunday, was it Sunday or Saturday? one of the two when I was over at the radio station, and that's my favorite place to go get a late night food. Is at Jack in the Box in Oakland, California. And we pull in, I'm going to get a couple of milkshakes, and it's the first time in forever that it says, we are closed.
Yes. Wasn't roaches. Wasn't snakes on a restaurant. It wasn't ant infestation. It's homeless people. I believe. I really do. I think probably their sewage even got backed up. I mean, I can see this. Because if people don't know how to live anymore, you know, then they live what they know. And I can see diapers going down those toilets. Yep. I can see all kinds of stuff going down those toilets, despite the signs in multiple languages. So that's what I'm cutting a break to the fine employees at the Jack in the Box California. I hear they've got good tacos. I've never had them before.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
The tacos are pretty good.
They're cheap.
They're very cheap.
Yeah. You know, if I'm a cow, I'm going to be like, don't put me in one of those cheap tacos. To which the slaughterer says, don't worry, those aren't real meat anyway. No, I'm just kidding. And also, I want to acknowledge the closing of Cindy's permanently.
No.
Yeah. The economy, the cost of upkeep, that building's pretty old. For so is Zingo's. But the cost of upkeep, it's just overwhelmed the owners of Cindy's, and they have decided to close. They're up at Oswell and Auburn. And it's the only place I knew to go for a Monte Cristo. Have you ever had a Monte Cristo?
No, I will before they close.
They're closed. It's
Are
over.
they already closed? Oh.
Monte Cristo is a ham and cheese sandwich that is on toast, that is dipped in batter, fried, and it comes to you with marmalade and powdered sugar on it.
I think my stomach just skipped a beat.
It's fantastic. But, you know, I understand. I mean, it's so sad when institutions go away, you know, and we've had that happen in the last couple of years. I guess it happens all the time, that we lose places that we really like. When Bit of Germany went away, I was sad about that. And, you know, the thing is, well, why didn't I go there more and support them?
Yeah, we were the same way when the Panda Palace closed.
Yeah.
And we were there at least once a week.
That place was packed.
It was.
I don't know why they closed.
My theory is they closed for renovations.
And they couldn't afford to renovate their wall.
Yep.
Well, speaking of restaurants and renovations, Domino's Pizza has I always love talking about commercials, don't I? Domino's Pizza, in closing, has this commercial, you might have seen it, about how you know how to drive your pizza home, but the roads don't always agree with you, right? You know the one where the guy's got his pizza next to him, and he hits a pothole, a giant pothole. I don't know how he didn't see it coming. And he hits it, his pizza falls on the floor. Like, pizza will taste any different if it's in a ball in the box. But if you open up that box and it's all smushed, you're gonna go right on, right? Yeah, you're just gonna find a way. It's pizza, for pity's sake. Get me a fork, honey. Get me a fork and a spoon. Where I'm going in. And so, anyway, so they promise, and they might this might be. I'm sure this is real. It's not just a stunt, but they promise if you let them know where the potholes are in your town that keep you from getting your Domino's Domino's Pizza home, they will come and fill in the hole. And they started in Burbank. Now, that's where the commercial takes place, is in Burbank, and they say they actually did it. They show them doing it, putting in the new asphalt and all, digging out the hole and all that good stuff. And I don't know what deal they worked out with Burbank, but if you're in California, have you ever heard of anybody who can just walk up and fill a hole without, the city came out once, because I lived in 1926 built home, 1929 I think it was actually, built home, and it had, cracks with the grass growing through it on the sidewalk. I loved it. I thought it was charming. City comes along and they patch up the cracks with black asphalt, not concrete. And you know what Michael Barks did, the late great Michael Barks? Waited for a really hot day and chipped it all away. Go ahead, go after him, City of Bakersfield. He's not around to take your call. But anyway, that's what you know how hard it is to just to just get your sidewalk repaired, or to put a driveway in front of your house, or put an awning in that is, if you put an awning in that isn't the right measurements, you can get in trouble for that. And so when I see it and it's in Burbank, I go, yeah, right. You're going to come to my town. Actually, you know what? This is kind of a good idea, because there's a lot of potholes in Jackie Sullivan's district. I might just have to make a lot of phone calls to Domino's. But anyway, I don't believe it. That's all I'm going to say. You saw Happy Time
Yes, I did.
Murders? You liked it?
I did like it.
And you know I won't like it.
Well, it's like I said, it's first of all, it's a very adult movie. But as
I'm not an adult.
I mean, it's crude, lewd. It was just
Thoroughly unacceptable.
Well, for me, it was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, sometimes that stuff is cathartic. I mean, I watch Pulp Fiction with a room full of people of all different ethnicities, and even the racial jokes. We were all going "Guffaw," because it was like cathartic to just go, "Oh my gosh!"
And I heard a lot of critics say they didn't like it.
It didn't make a lot of money.
Did not make a lot of money.
In fact, it made less money, I read, than Melissa McCarthy's. That movie she made, Life of the Party, where she's the mom that goes to the dorms, made less money than that. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I apologize.
But I think much of the criticism is unwarranted because it's a different film. It's a different, like I said, it's a film noir. And if you don't know what film noir is, go look it up. It's like classic detective movies like Double Indemnity, Dial M for Murder,
Maltese Falcon,
a lot like that. Yeah. It has, it has everything that has in a film noir. It's in this film. The problem is that they tell it in such a way that's different. It doesn't really catch.
It's got puppets.
It's puppets.
Yeah. Speaking of, have you ever seen Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid?
God, it's been a long time since I've seen that. Yes, it's been a long time since I've seen that.
What absolute classic film Steve Martin did with that one. If you haven't seen it, it's great. He basically plays the part of an investigator who's doing an investigation, but he puts himself in famous movies with famous actors and actresses. And I found it very funny. But again, people might not find that funny. I don't know. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for playing along. And I forgot to tell you what the argument is. Oh shoot, do I have a minute? Can I have a minute?
You have 1 minute.
Bail bonds argument, environmental argument, no more pumping in California. Let's see, so bail argument, housing argument, oil argument, everything argument, education argument. Now it is official. It is always race. It's just official. Come up with any new law or regulation. I bet you can find a way that plastic straws probably hurt minorities more than the rest. And it's getting stupid. And if I were a minority, which I guess I am in California, but what we usually think of when we say minority, if I'm a minority, I'm totally offended that the government thinks I am that pitiful. I am that poor and I'm that stupid. So that's just me. All right, kids, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for playing along. Goose, thank you always for being on the... What are you staring at?
I'm looking at the camera with the battery.
Oh, the battery's going... Oh, that's why you gave me 1 minute, because the battery's dying.
It's going red.
Oh, well then. Guess we better get out of here. Thank you for sharing space with me today. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I so look forward to it. And we'll see you later broadcasting with kerncast.com, Blue Sky Media. This is the Inga Barks Show.